Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin.
I've only had like Genesis 30 something, so I'm not really that far.
Let me show you something.
Alright, go ahead.
See what it says right here? Edom, today's white man. And what these are historical references that kind of help us identify what the Bible says that Esau is today, right? I want you to look up here. You ever seen this picture before?
Yeah.
What do you remember? Give me your recollection of this.
All I know is it's some type of temple or something in the Middle East.
In the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is an area called Petra. It was an area region of where Mount Seir was mentioned in the Bible, right? Well, we may not know that. But Mount Seir is where it says that Edom dwelled, right? In ancient times. These are mountain sides in the region of Mount Seir. What we see is structural architecture built within the actual mountains, within the walls, right? Do you see anything that kind of sparks your interest in how these, in the structure of how these are built? So what I want to show you is the similarity of what we see today and the people who build today and have the power today as to what was happening back then.
It's not the pillars that are there like the White House.
The what? The pillars that are like
The White House.
right. So we see there's a similarity, right? We know who rules this, right? What about down here? When you look at this, the Bible describes Esau as the eagle too, right? And we see that America's symbol is the bald eagle, right? We forget that Germany, with its Nazi regime, always had a pole with an eagle on it, right? But we never kind of put two and two together because these people were warring with these people, right? Not only that, Germany was warring with Russia during World War II also, right?
Right.
So you got three people who represent the eagle, or what they, back then they called the, what was the other term for it? Cap? The phoenix, right? But these all have representation of the eagle. But not only that, when you go back into the Roman times, that was their symbol also. The Vatican uses that today, and we see that Edom had its symbol as eagle also. So now we see all these similarities, right? And if we look at this, all of these people who run these countries are what race?
White people.
Caucasian. So now we see, wait a minute, but they're fighting against each other, but they're all the same people. And it says they all go back to the originator right here. Come over here, see the same thing again. Mount Seir, carved in the mountains, right? We see the American, whatever, I forgot building that is. Russia even has pillars.
It's the Lincoln
Memorial. Yeah, Lincoln Memorial. Russia has, what you call them?
Pillars?
Yeah, the pillars.
Uh-huh.
Then you got Great Britain with the same thing. So we see the same thing here, same thing here, same thing here.
Same thing with the Roman stadiums and the...
Right. You got now we got baseball, football, right? Stadiums. You got the Roman Colosseums, right? Same thing with the, of course, showing the same thing here. But then down here, the eagle, representation of their bird, right? Of their power. Let me ask you this: what is the symbol of an eagle? What type of bird is the eagle?
Fly above and prey on dead animals.
It's the top bird, right? And it preys on the others.
Yeah.
So that's how Edom looks at itself, as preying on others, which is actually a prophecy that was given to Edom, right? He was going to rule by the sword, right? Have you read that part? You see in Genesis, so you know about that. Now, I find this real interesting too, because if you don't understand what's going on from this, then I don't know where your mind is. You're really caught up in America. But we see that during the Greek time, which is what we talked about, there's neither Jew nor Greek, right? Who was ruling?
Esau. Oh, the eagle. Okay.
And on one side. During the Roman times, right? Paul was out there preaching going to the churches, right? Different churches during the time of the rule of the Romans. You got another Caucasian, another eagle. Nothing new under the sun, bro. Look at that. Nothing new under the sun. So this is even not even using the scriptures, but the scriptures give us reference, it gives us a starting point. And then we can go through history and look and see today that everything that was going on back then is still going on today. So instead of calling ourselves Greeks, instead of Paul calling himself a Roman, because Paul called himself a Roman, we call ourselves Black, African American, or whatever the case may be. Nothing new under the sun. The scriptures tell us this. You move over to the next poster, you'll see African American. You know about these two people, right?
Right.
You know about Leo Scipio Africanus?
That's the guy who discovered Africa, right?
He didn't discover Africa.
That's what I say, quote unquote.
No. What it is, he was a Roman general, right? And he waged war against the Second Punic Wars. He waged war against Hannibal, right? And defeated Hannibal in the Second Punic Wars. In that region, he took it over and surnamed himself, Africanus in that region. Then from there, it kind of spread down to the rest of Africa. Africa wasn't called Africa all the time. They had different names for it, right? There was Land of Ham, there was Ethiopia even, And then we have, who's this guy right here?
Amerigo's
Vespucci. He was a Roman navigator. He would circumvent the earth on a ship, map out certain things, right? He was a cartographer, right? And they named America after him. So we got two Romans, two Edomites, and we're named after them? What was Jesse Jackson thinking, man?
1988, a group of black leaders, including Reverend Jesse Jackson and representatives from the NAACP, met to discuss the national black agenda. It was here that Jackson and his peers catapulted the term African American into the country's lexicon. The term has been used since the 1970s, but never gained widespread acceptance until after this Chicago convention.
You know what I'm saying? What was his head? He was trying to run for president. He was cooning. He had to figure out something to try and make us feel like we're accepted in America. But so you can see through just our own American and world history, all the deception that was taught to us. When you get into this truth, you get into these scriptures right here, it opens everything up. Because right now a lot of people got these veils over their eyes. They so caught up in America, so caught up in their ways, so caught up in being comfortable and believing that this is the lifestyle we're supposed to live, right? They don't realize all the evil, all the prophecy and all the evil that had took place before we got here today, right? You look over here. This is what really, this right here pretty much sealed the deal. When these white men created these different denominations and religions, this is what further destroyed and pretty much was the end, the last blow of our people. Because there was a time when we came out of the land of Egypt, we still knew who we were. We knew who we were during living in Spain, Portugal, Britain, France. We knew. It wasn't until we got on them slave ships and came over to America and then was indoctrinated. That's when we forgot who we were up to this day, right? And these were the Edomites that helped set it up. Right? I'm gonna go to you probably heard this scripture, but just so you see that this is always planned, right? I'm gonna go to the book of Psalms, chapter 83. I'll read this to you real quick. You can look at it too. Because what this is gonna explain is that this was all part of the Most High's plan, right? For our disobedience, he set it up to where we were gonna be taken over because we didn't want to follow according to the script he gave us, which is the laws and commandments. He had already set up that the nations were going to conspire against us, right? So it says this, the book of Psalms chapter 83. It says, keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, right? For lo, thine enemies, this is David, right? It's King David speaking. Make a tumult. That means they're making a loud noise, a loud uproar, right? And it says, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. Now he's talking about those, David was running. There's a lot of people wanting to kill him, right? This is also talking about future prophecy of our people, and we'll see as it goes, right? It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. When you see the word crafty, what does that say to you?
Like a scheme.
A scheme, right? Very wicked, right? Conniving, craftiness, right? Against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who is the against thy people referencing?
The Israelites.
The Israelites. It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Remember when I said we came on them slave ships? They indoctrinated us with Christianity. Right. We forgot the real Israelites. Right. So that's prophecy fulfilled right here. Right. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent, meaning not only Esau, but we had, well, it'll explain. But they have consulted with one consent. They are confederate against thee. They're all saying that we don't want these people to thrive. We're going to come together and make sure these people don't thrive, right? It says, and then it says who these people are, right? The first name, the tabernacles of Edom, right? Then it says, and the Ishmaelites. Who are the Ishmaelites today?
The Middle East and the Muslims, the Arabians.
Yeah, all right. Of Moab, who's Moab today? Chinese. And the Hagarenes, who are the Hagarenes? I don't know. Hagarenes would be the Hamitic black, what they call Hamitic so-called black. That would consist of the Egyptians, Ethiopians, right? Because the Egyptians had us in slavery, right? And us captive. Gibal, same Africans, and Ammon. Ammon are the Japanese, or who's what we call, and Amalek. Who's Amalek?
That's like the Ashkenazi.
Right, but that's also Edom. That's the grandson of Esau, right? So you got Edom up here, but you also got Amalek, right? Because they were the worst of all of them, Amalek, right? We know that they're taking our name right now, calling themselves Jews, right? The Philistines, right, with the inhabitants of Tyre, also African. Asher also is joined with them, that they have opened the children of Lot, Selah. So we see that it was already planned ahead of time to take us, to confuse us, to entrap us, to enslave us, to cause us to forget who we are to this day. So, and there's so much more prophecy. I just want to show you that this wasn't something that I should say that the Most High didn't already say. He's the executive producer. We're the actors. We're the main characters, right? We're the main characters, but other nations are the adversary, right? He used them to whoop our ass, right? The thing is that when he gave us the script, you know how when you want to act, you want to go into acting, right? Yeah. And your agent says, I want to try for my client to try for this role. They give you a script, right? You take the script home, you learn it, you read it, you come back, and then you kind of give your little, performance audition, right? Your performance, and but because you read the script, so you play that role, and then they can judge whether you play the role or not. The problem with us is that everybody else has played their role to a T. I mean, they literally got shows like the Emmys, right? To show how well they play their role. We're the only ones who don't play our role because we don't read the script. See what I'm saying? If we read the script, then we'll know how to play our role. We'll know when we come out here in little 5 points, and we out here telling our people to come back from the, come out of her, my people. We're trying to get them to come back to reading this book so they know who they are, so they don't know how to apply themselves further, right?